Hello, duelists. We are back taking a look at this replay. This is a fun one. We had a very interesting opponent, obviously on a very similar deck to us. However, yeah, there were some interesting words exchanged. So we'll keep you all abreast of the text chat as it happened. We'll kind of introduce it in between the games to kind of recap the game because I feel like it's just going to add a little accent to what was already a pretty interesting match. But yes, anyways, this is a Mitsurugi mirror match. So we'll go ahead and do the card by card. We've got a Kusanagi, we've got the Fua, Aramasa, Nib, and Ash. And then opponents got their own Aramasa. They've got a Nunu, a Ritual, the Haba, and the mirror itself. We are going first, so let's get on into it. We are going to go full combo here. We check for a few hand traps. This is the droll check, and they do not have it, which means this Habakiri is full combo. So we'll go ahead and do the thing, right? You summon Saji, tribute Saji, Saji effect, grab the prayers, separate chain link, activate the prayers, tributing the Haba for cost. You know, we're just popping off to the races here. So we're gonna get a ton of bodies off of this. So we will bring out the Saji with the prayers and go ahead and get our Murakumo. And then, of course, the Haba is going to grab the Ritual. We'll Ritual on out Murakumo, this time using the Night Sword Serpent and the Kusanagi from hand. Really nice that the Ritual is worded in a way when you're bringing out from deck, you can always use from hand or field. That was really helpful for getting that Kusanagi out of our hands. So we're going to go ahead and get our chain links here. Serpent, chain link 2, Kusanagi, add back the Ritual. We'll go ahead and Ritual out here. This time we'll go ahead and bring out the Futsu. Really nice to see that. We'll Murakumo now add the trap, bring itself back. And I figure at this point, you know, this is a good enough place to stop. Let's dig for some non-engine here. We're going to go ahead and do Garrus effect. Hit the Gamma. So nice. Add the summon the IP. Get this purification set up. Now, they do draw the talent, which is kind of wild. So, I mean, they're not in a terrible position. I just went full combo. I probably could have pushed even harder, but yeah, I was like really happy with this and the non-engine that I hit that I was pretty good to call it there. So they're going to Nunu, get their Haba dumped here. Nunu summon itself out. We are then going to chain our Futsu, grab back the Kusanagi. Kusanagi is going to get our follow-up here. Grab the prayers. They're going to choose to mirror here, which is interesting. It tells me they're probably not doing too hot. They were holding a few things, of course, but yeah, we're going to go ahead and choose to stop the mirror effect. I guess in hindsight, we could have held the purification for a little bit later, but stopping this deck's ritual ability is usually a good idea. You typically do want to stop the ritual, but the mirror, I mean, this was well played on their part. They kind of foretold that there wasn't much happening, so I figured we would stop this mirror and see what we can do here. We'll go ahead and Murakumo bring itself back, or no, not bring itself back. We're actually going to choose to not summon back because they want to take one of our monsters, which is fine because we're then going to go ahead and SP. So they'll take the Futsu, incorrect decision there. We can SP away their Nunu. Now they're going to choose to ritual summon from deck, which we do have the Ash for. They are on very few resources. They'll choose the Haba, which is totally fine because now we can clear our field for this Gamma here. So they're going to use this Saji, right? And they haven't used the prayers, so this is a perfect place to Gamma. No Saji effect. They just have one normal summon. What's that going to do? Absolutely nothing. The Wosu, no Su. They'll get their Haba search, but it's really not looking good for them. So, you know, they've already tried to ritual from deck. What are they really trying to do here? So we'll drop the Nib before they can get their search because they would be able to full combo or continue comboing there. So let's go ahead now and bring in the chat, right? Some initial words were exchanged here. We've got as I was grabbing out my Wosu, they're like, ooh, good idea, same thing. And then, you know, I'm just dropping hand traps left and right. They're still polite at this point. They're like, sir, behave. And eventually, you know, I dropped the Nib and I'm like, all right, game 2. And he's like, all right, you deserve that. You literally had everything. So far, so good, right? You know, light banter back and forth between the opponent. Nothing crazy there. So let's go ahead and get on into game 2 now. So we are now in game 2. So here we go. They are going first, and we do have a decent going second hand. I don't know. I think that there was a point to be made about the Nib, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there. I'm going to queue up the chat. So here we go. Oh yes, One thing to note, they have a prayers. Insane to me that they don't use that in draw phase. I mean, they do have a called by, which is nice and all, but I don't know. I'm using this prayers in draw phase, especially games 2 and 3, 10 out of 10 times. So they choose to prayers in main phase. Would be really, really nice to draw, but I guess they do have some technology to stop that. So now we are going to go ahead and let them ritual summon on out here. They do have this Kusanagi and Saji, which is crazy. So they're just going to go full combo here. They'll add. They'll add. Now they're going to Snake Rain. Absolutely insane. Really in an uphill battle position here. So they are now going to, get their ritual summon to bring out the Futsu. Murakumo come back and search. We'll have this mirror, go ahead and reset itself. So they're doing well for themselves. This is going to be full combo. We do have a few ways to stop it, but we're going to do our best. So they are now on Ogdodic, stuff as well. They've got their purification in rotation now. The daybreak is here. Things are looking pretty crazy. All right, they're going to get their lizard draw. What do they draw off the lizard? That's really crazy. They get their virus. Now, we'll cross that bridge when we get there, but there actually is, especially with this alien variant of the Mitsurugi deck. Yeah, this is the problem here, right? So this thing has a passive effect that says monsters your opponent controls with A counters are changed to defense, and neither player can activate their effects. So this thing is what's going to give all of ourselves A counters, but this is the real floodgate. So if we can get this thing off the field, we are in really good shape. We still have to contend with this purification. That's going to be a big problem, of course. But yeah, so they're going to go ahead and get their daybreak, get a bunch of bodies, and I'm like, all good. Let's let them, fully commit before we drop this nib, because we're dropping the nib. I know that it doesn't necessarily play the best into this deck, but we're still going to use it because at this board state, yes, they can bring stuff back out, but I'm not triggering any of their cards. So now they're forced to mirror, bring back the Murakumo, they'll get their searches, they clear my field, which is fantastic, thank you. They get their prayers in rotation, so they're in a really good spot. They do have the called by, they do have the purification, and they do have prayers, but it's not the craziest board. It's just good. It would be nice to have seen a second evenly matched for sure, because they're on this little token here, so they still refuse to use it in draw phase. That is crazy to me. Okay, so they're going to get add and special summon back. They bring back the Futsu. No problem there. They're going to bring back their Ogdodic, whatever. We're going to force out their Omni Negate. Fine. They'll go ahead and use the Omni. No worries there. They'll bring the Futsu back. We're a bit of a tricky spot here, right? So we can get rid of the Futsu when we're doing our special summoning. So, there's that. I think I am. Okay, so then they choose to chain called by the grave. So this does hurt quite a bit. They're hurting themselves, but they're going to hurt me more by banishing this Futsu and not letting me get that search. I will show you, though, how powerful one prayers can truly be, because we are still going to do a crap ton of damage here. Or not damage, but we're going to do a lot. So we end up just getting rid of the Gamma, no worries. Now we're going to go ahead and add the Haba, use the Haba, tribute Saji effect, go ahead and get our ritual spell in rotation here. And we're in a decent spot. I just don't think it's going to be enough because we did Wosu, so we're locked into reptiles, which is a little bit unfortunate. So we'll get our searches. This could have been anything. Maybe in hindsight, it was better to grab the Magatama for more follow-up and just end on these two guys. I figured this would give me more searches. Let's keep looking at what we end up with here. So we wipe their board. We're now going to go ahead and bring out the Habakiri. Now we had prayers here. This could have been the Magatama. Let's see if that comes up. That might have been a better play, to be honest. So they are going to use that. We will get rid of their Ash Blossom, which is fantastic. Let's continue to consider what it would be to have that Magatama as a pop. So they are going to prayers, add Saji, special back the Murakumo to wipe, and they're going to, now negate here. So this thing is not coming back. They're going to wipe our board. and they've got their ritual spell. So, yeah, I don't think we were really winning this game, to be honest. So we'll get the shuffle back, add the mirror, bring out the Murakumo effect. But yeah, they've got too many resources. So this is where the smack talk comes in here, right? I tell them, I try to be respectful about this, about using your prayers in the draw phase. They smile, and then they say, I guess, whatever. And then they start thinking I've got nib, which I do. They'll say it doesn't matter right here, but that's actually not true, because remember, with their alien cosmic slicer dude, that would have completely mattered with this pollutant virus. So they're talking out of their butt for that. What did I just tell you? Okay. And then that, you lose, it'd just be wasting time. You know what I added, hurry up. So I'm just going along. Now they're getting really mad. They're like, play, you know what I added. About to remove your board, it's not enough, I win. And then of course we get to the GGs. So, that's fine, whatever. We are gonna move on to game 3. And here we are. Now we're at peak salt for this guy here. And we drew the droll going second. We're feeling so good about ourselves. Or droll going first. So, even if we get stopped, we're stopping them 100%. So this is something to consider, right? When you got the pre-prep and any of your rituals, I think it is better to play the pre-prep than to use the Saji here, because the Saji is going to go ahead and get my, prayers, which is nice and all, but, the real issue is now I'm under droll, whereas if I had done the pre-prep, at least I would have been able to get, a body on field, theoretically. And so now we're going to take a look at their hand, and this one's interesting because I see the Snake Rain, I'm like, okay, that's probably the card to hit. This Nunu isn't starting their plays, and it's an extender, and the Saji plays really hard into my droll, which I want them to use. So I figure we'll hit the Snake Rain and stop their major plus train from happening here. So we hit the Snake Rain. I still think that's correct in hindsight. So now we're going to go ahead and... This is stupid. I shouldn't have set this. I know they have the Lightning Storm, so they're obviously going to trigger that. So this should have just been in my hand, 100%. That was a dumb move on my part. But and they happen to draw a droll, but it does not matter in the slightest. So they'll try to destroy. We're going to use our prayers, get rid of the Futsu. So now we're going to get all of our searching done before them, so we can activate our droll properly. So we'll get the Futsu, add another prayers, and this is it, right? When you've got Haba plus prayers, that's full combo. You're absolutely going to win that game, provided we can make it there. And this droll should just put in all the work in the world. So this is all bait, all just bait here. Nunu's coming out, whatever. Saji effect to search the ritual, and we just drop droll. And this should be about where we win the game here, right? They're going to bring out this dude. They will be able to ritual summon from deck, but it doesn't matter, right? So they got their dude, they can wipe my board and do some damage, but they got nothing. They got absolutely nothing. And so let's see, what is this thing going to do? It's going to bring out a Saji, an extra blocker, like that's going to matter at all. And this is why when you have prayers, and especially prayers plus this Habakiri, you're not losing to droll. It is insane how good this is, and how even with this droll, I'm going to completely wax this dude by getting all of my searching done in the draw phase. So, he tries to negate, which we've got the card we drew for turn, so it just doesn't matter. So we'll add the dude, Mitsurugi. We'll get our double search here, still in the draw phase. There's nothing they can do. We'll add the mirror, add the ritual. Oh, this feels so good. And of course, now they're talking mad smack. Don't worry. Once we clean this thing up, we'll be in business here. Okay, so we're gonna ritual summon out. This is so good. Okay, so we're going to use all 3 effects here. We're going to summon out, we're going to add back, and then we're going to board wipe. Oh, this feels so good. We're now going to mirror, bring out the Habakiri. This guy adds, and then it's over. It's so over. They're going to drop droll and then just quit. And we can negate the droll. That is the funniest thing in the world. So they quit, but we have to get into the chat now. It's too good. It's way too good. So let's see, we're on the, here we go. So when he sees me normal summon the Saji, and then I add the prayers, He's like, should activate in DP, LOL, draw phase, LOL. And I was like, how? How am I going to activate Saji in draw phase? You don't. You activate prayers in draw phase. So, things are obviously getting spicy. And then as soon as he goes to battle after I dropped roll, I'm like, all right, salt cannons, let's go. Claim the GG early. I tell him GG as he's attacking me. He says GG. Oh, but then it gets so good. He's like, you're not winning this. LOL, LOL. So here we're getting a little bit of spam here. And he's like, you don't know what to do. Now he's saying this during my turn as I'm just like slowly taking my time, summoning out my dudes, not playing into his droll until the last minute. And he's like, LOL. And I was like, nah, I'll take my time. And he's like, nah. And so I'm just like twisted the knife a little bit. And I'm like, oh, you seem mad. And he's like, nah, LOL. Okay, here we go. Now the name calling comes out. Hurry up, scrub. Ooh, and I'm like, ooh, insults now. And he's like, check the log. This isn't new. Scrub. I'm like, oh, he's definitely mad. And now he's like, oh, you're just clicking buttons. LOL, 1 minute left. Like that matters. Then he disconnects. He drops troll and he disconnects. So of course, we gotta get our claims in. Easies, the smileys. Oh God, it just felt so good. There were, some misplays for sure. We especially didn't need to set our the pre-prep, and I think that we could have even chosen to activate that on our turn, get our search. So maybe we could have at least made a Murakumo for their turn. That could have been pretty nice. But all things considered, right? I mean, this was just devastating. I think that yes, overall Nibiru does not hurt pure Mitsurugi, but it absolutely gave me a fighting chance. I just didn't have enough to crack their board for game 2. But I think it was really close. And I don't think that Magatama would have quite done it, but I think that we were in a really good spot, all things considered, and especially for this game 3, we were in a commanding position. It was only fair, right? They get to draw into talents for their turn, so we get to see this talents as well. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed this salty, fun little replay we had here. We're prepping for regionals, having fun with the Mitsus, so I hope you enjoyed as well.